Well, good evening, and thank you very much for staying here on the Joy Sports channel on Multi TV. Well, it's time for us to get into another edition of Sports Night, and it's only here on the Joy Sports channel on Multi TV. My name is Nathaniel Attoh. I'm ably backed by a very strong production team here at Joy Sports. This evening, we're talking athletics. In the last few days, we've had various stories popping up from athletics that do not necessarily have a positive tone. They have gone in the line of the negative. We have seen the the nationality switch of one of Ghana's most decorated athletes, Ignatius Geza. Well, in the aftermath of that, we heard a lot of name-calling from both sides in terms of those who have been on the administrative tables of the Ghana Athletics Association before. Well, one person says, I was a better administrator. One person says, I've done a better job. And the name-calling keeps going on and on and on. And the blame game is also going on and on and on. Well, this evening, we want to look at this case fully from a very, very plain perspective, where one person who has been at the receiving end of all of these as an athlete is here with me in the studio to discuss the issues just as they are. Well, this evening we'll be looking at what at all the problem is within Ghana athletics. Where do we call it off in terms of bringing a solution? And when do we chart a forward course so that Ghana will start getting good performances on the international scene? Well, we will be delving into this from various angles. But this evening, I've got with me here a former 100 and 200 meter champion at the national level who has also been to the Commonwealth Games representing the Ghana flag before. Well, right now as we speak, Ignatius Geza is going to use the flag of the Netherlands. Recently, we also heard about Margaret Simpson, who now is switching her attention away from Ghana as an athlete. She will not compete in Ghanaian colors anymore. And this is all because of apparent neglect and what she describes as some amount of favoritism at the Ghana Athletics Association. Well, this chain of programs on athletics will not end from this evening. We will be bringing you some more from others who are all stakeholders in athletics here in Ghana. What are the issues? What is the real problem? And where do we find a lasting solution? That's the reason why you have to sit with me over the next 1 hour as we look into Ghana athletics and where we can put a stop to all the bleeding. My name is Nathaniel Attoh one more time, and we'll do a round of commercials. After that, I introduce to you my guest here in the studio. For keeping it right here, and my guest in the studio this evening is Clement Ajiman. Clement, thank you very much for joining us. Clement also works with the Customs Division of the National Revenue Authority. He's a customs officer. Thank you very much, Clement, one more time. Now, what have you been up to in the last few months?
I'm around preparing for the security games.
I see.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I'm sure that you followed events. All the events that have happened in the last few days, from Ignatius Geza's nationality switch to this very recent one where Margaret Simpson says that, look, it's about time I just pack my bags and leave. I'm not going to compete for Ghana anymore. What do you make of all of these?
Well, I think it's a sad news, but then from an athlete's angle, I would say it's a good decision they are taking. They have their reasons, and their reasons are very tangible, and it's all due to the fact that they are not getting the necessary support from the association, from the ministry, and from the nation as well. So, I mean, even though it's a bad news, I think it will be good for them.
Good for them so that the national interest is sacrificed?
Yeah, I mean, what I can say is perhaps that is what the authorities want. I think if you value something, if you cherish something, I mean, you give a respect to that thing, and then you try to, at all times have it at heart. But that is not what we are seeing. As compared to various countries. I mean, Ignatius Geza, Margaret Simpson are world-class athletes. So I mean, I would have preferred that we hold them like egg. We don't allow them to be complaining too much, that sort of things. But that's exactly what is happening. So
Is it that you, the athletes, sometimes just take advantage of the situation and just go on and keep complaining?
No, it's not about that. We don't complain for complaining sake. We complain with a reason. You know, Geza is complaining. Look, you know, local athletes are complaining. Foreign athletes are complaining. Why? Because they are not getting the necessary, you know, support from that situation. So definitely, it's not a matter of, you know, complaining. It has a reason. And the reasons are not being addressed. So we'll keep on complaining until they address those reasons. Okay.
So for you as an athlete who's been there before and has suffered your own, you know, your own share of all these troubles, what are the problems? If somebody is just observing all of this for the first time and is hearing of this for a very first time, they would ask, what are the problems within Ghana athletics that you feel are so uncontrollable and so unbearable that you'd have to, you know, quit national duty?
For now, I think I'll limit myself to only two. And then one is motivation. And then secondly, lack of competitions. As an athlete, if you really want to, you know, attain a high level, you need to compete, you know, then and then to, you know, put yourself in good shape. And then motivation-wise, you know, it's nothing to talk about. I mean, look at the names you mentioned, Igastros, Geza, and then Margaret Simpson. I mean, these are athletes, when you go to their various, you know, bases and you meet them, you realize, I mean, being in Europe is not easy. And they can't, you know, be there preparing to, you know, compete for the nation whilst, you know, they suffer in terms of money and a whole lot of things. So that is how the situation is like, you know, motivation and lack of competitions.
When you talk about motivation, for instance, what is more motivating than having the opportunity to, first of all, represent your country and also make a mark for yourself or, you know, win any medal or trophy that's available so that you obviously eventually benefit from it?
Yeah, you see, when it comes to glory, it is given to the nation. You know, you see the Ghana flag, you see they mention names all over the world. You see, it's not like we trying to be selfish here. It's all about we are so committed. You see, I was saying it the other time that it's only in Ghana here that athletes, you know, it's as if we go begging to represent the nation. You know, whilst we expect that it's rather the nation that is, or the association that is supposed to come to us, begging us to, you know, represent the nation. But it's the other way around. At the end of the day, I may be getting something from what I'm doing, but it's the nation that benefits. You understand? Yeah. So that is it.
Let's talk about you. Sometime last year, you said that you had also, you know, retired from the sport. You cited, you know, favoritism, put in quotes. What was the situation?
I must say that I'm one athlete who has suffered a lot in the hands of, you know, administrators. Some of them, they think I'm too vocal, I'm too known. Anything I see, I want to talk about it, and so I'm always sidelined. You know, last year I hinted that I'm going to retire this year, and I still stand by that, with the reason that, you know, the association is one way or the other, not Ajima Clement alone, all the athletes. You know, what we expect from them, they are not doing it.
Like?
Oh, like I said, competitions, you know, motivation. We are in the 7th month, right? But there's no news or there's no rumor of, you know, a competition coming on. And you don't expect an athlete so committed, so talented, to train for 7 good months without a competition. I mean, if you look at all these things, it's so frustrating. You need to, you know, advise yourself and then say bye-bye to the track.
Well, if you just joined us, we're still here on Sports Night, and it's only here on the Joy Sports channel on Multi TV. Here with me in the studio is Clement Ajiman, one-time national 100 and 200 meter champion, looking at the issues and from his personal perspectives and what he knows is pertaining now. And also, your bosses, the administrators,
Yeah.
the current administration, past administrations have been taking a go at each other on our platforms. I don't know if you've listened to any of them, but I mean, for you, what will be your conclusion about what is going on, especially among the leaders?
Yeah, I think it has to. I mean, it's normal. Everybody wants to show this. You know, I have worked with currently 3 administrators. You know, I happen to work under Mr. Lutot, Sandy Osajman, and then currently Professor Dodu. If I'm asked to, you know, rate these 3 administrators, I think I'll give thumbs up to Lutot, because in his time, athletes were really exposed, you know, to competitions. We were having competitions here and there. I remember those days we could have, you know, seniors and juniors. We had mobile games. We had also before the Commonwealth Game comes or the Olympic Game comes, you may have at least about 5 competitions before, you know, we go in for this international competition. But that's not what we are seeing now. You understand? So if I'm asked to rate, I think Literal, Sandy, and then perhaps lastly to Francis Dodu.
I see. Well, you have had the experience of working with all these people.
Yeah.
Now, as you sit here, if you had all 3 people, let's say the last 3, you know, Professor Francis Dodu, Sandy Osajima, and Mr. George Lutrot, what would you say to them?
Well, for now, I would advise, it's as if they all have, you know, the love for the sports. They all have, you know, the knowledge for it. And so I don't see the reason why they should be showing shoulders. I mean, the 3 of them can sit down. We all want the better half of the nation so far as athletics is concerned. And so I would advise that the 3 of them will come together, even though Francis Dodu, Professor, is on board now. I expect the 2, you know, former chairmen to join hands and then work towards the betterment of the association and nothing else.
All right, working towards the betterment of the association. You say, for instance, that one person has organized a lot more competitions than the others. And for you, these records are there.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in this instance where we do not have regular competition and the Commonwealth Games is staring us in the face and African Championships as well are staring us in the face, what do we do then?
Well, it's going to be the usual story. We are only going to add up to the number and nothing else. Because, you see, I was telling somebody just this morning that the last 2 you know, Olympic Games, if you go to the net and you go to Usain Bolt, you know, you realize that he had almost about 30 competitions, roughly about 30 competitions before coming to the, what you call the Olympic Games. And we all saw what happened. I mean, the man was fully equipped. I mean, he was in the track. He knew what he was doing. And at the end of the day, I mean, he came up, you know, the best, you know, sprinter. Unlike Ghana here, 7 months, no competition. So how do you expect athletes to prepare and then go in for, you know, international championship? It's not possible. We are not magicians. We need to train. We need to, you know, compete among ourselves so that when you are in the track, you'll be so familiar with the track, such that, I mean, anywhere you go, you can deliver.
All right. Now, being familiar with the track, and also it brings up one very big question. We may not have the highest number of athletic start-on tracks in town. Immediately, I can point to the University of Ghana, Legon, you know, and the Elwak Stadium being one, you know, 2 of some very key places all over the country where we have our start-on tracks. Has it also been a major factor? Yeah,
it's a major factor in the sense that, you know, at the moment, athletes based in Greater Accra, both, you know, security service athletes and then the Greater Accra athletes, we all train at what you call EWAC. But you'll be there and there will be a program. I mean, an association or an institution, you know, could hire the stadium for a week, and it means that week no athlete is going to train. You understand? And then when you go to the various, you know, stadia, well, some of them are, you know, far from the athletes, and so they find it very difficult. Most of these athletes, you know, are not working. They need to, you know, go by trotro or by taxi, and they are not working. How do they get money to do that? And then apart from that, I mean, the EWAC Stadium where we are all training is so, it's nothing to talk about. The tartan at the moment, if you go there, you wouldn't describe it whether it's a tartan. Because the red tartan is now being seen as black or is it green or whatever. It's not good for athletes, to train there and then come out to compete with the international athletes. It's a problem.
I've heard an athletics coach tell me that if you have a tartan track which has the kind of quality that the LWAC, tartan track has deteriorated to, then it's fine for training. Is that true?
Yeah. Because we see, let me share my experience with you. 2006, I was in Australia. In fact, even the warm-up track, after going 2 laps, I asked my coach that there are some differences. It's as if this one is faster than what I was normally training with, and it tells you how good that tartan track is. So if you should get a tartan track like that, and then you train with it, when you get there, it wouldn't seem to be new to you. You get used to it. This track, if I do this, it's going to pick fast. Unlike the EWAC Stadium where every week or every day you have to be complaining of shin pain here and there.
Okay, and so training on these kinds of surfaces or these kinds of edifices, you also open yourself up to
injuries. To injuries. I remember the same 2006, before we left for Australia for the Commonwealth Games, we were camping at Winneba College. And then I think there was one foreign athlete who came down, and he has to join us there. And then if I saw the sort of injury this guy had, you'll marvel. Somebody who was based in the US came down to camp, and he was sent to Winneba College. And he has to train in the sun. And at the end of the day, he had muscle pull, he had a muscle tear, he injured himself a whole lot. So the tartan track at the EWAC is not the best. It's not the best at even those ones at Sipon and the Kumasi. It's not of a high quality, no. It's like, they did something to represent something and we have to manage with it.
Well, many issues coming through here with one athlete who used to be the 100 meters and 200 meters champion here in Ghana. We're looking ahead into athletics and looking at what the real issues are and what the real problems are, especially in the wake of the nationality switch for Ignatius Gazer and also Margaret Simpson's latest announcement that she will not compete for Ghana anymore. Are we going to see a time when all the probables and good medal hopes from Ghana at international competitions will just fade out and say, well, I don't want to do this? Well, this is a very, very big question which will have many years to answer. Let's do a round of commercials and we will continue with Sports Night. And my man here with me in the studio is Clement Ajima, one-time 100 meters and 200 meters champion. I'm still in the studio here on Sports Night on the Joy Sports channel on Multi TV with Clement Ajiman here with me in the studio. When you took that decision to quit, national team duty, were you convinced by anybody to rescind?
Yes, I have a lot of friends who are trying to convince me, but then I've already decided. The frustrations are too much, and so I think if you are willing to do something for your nation and there have been some blocks in front of you, I don't think it will augur well for you to continue. The best thing is maybe they don't want you to do it, so why do you keep on pushing them?
All right. Now, so have you had any regrets whatsoever, or have you had the desire to want to make yourself available for selection one more time?
Not for now. Yeah, not for now. Because I think it's time we give chance to the young ones, to also exhibit their talent. In the sense that, you will be in a track with a young athlete who you think can, really, beat you. But because of your presence, he will be, panicking and a whole lot of. So I think it's time we give the young ones the chance to also exhibit their talent.
So you are done with your national career, your national team career?
Yeah, for now I would say yes. Yeah.
I see.
For now I would say yes.
All right. So tell me, you you also compete for the security services.
Yeah.
And it is not a yearly event.
Yeah. It was, but now not.
It's no more.
Yeah.
How do you cope then with all the demands of training daily? Or you have done a regimen such that you spread it across the year and you intensify at certain peak periods?
No, it has been very difficult with us. Formerly it was, yearly. And so you were always on your toes, training. There was no time for rest. I mean, you could only rest for about a month or two off season. And then you start training again. But now it's 2 years. And after competing, you may think that, look, it will take me another 2 years, so let me relax a little. And then before you realize you're putting on weight, before you realize you've engaged yourself in so many activities that may not augur well for you as an athlete. So it's been a problem with us, but we try to manage. You see, if the security services were to, go in for 2 years, and then between the 2 years we have these national championships, fine. I mean, we can still be on our toes and then be competing. But here's the case, a whole year we may not have a competition. The only competition we'll be having will be a Grand Prix, which is strictly invitational. So if you are not invited, it means the whole year you are not going to do anything. You understand? At the moment, I heard there's going to be Unity Games, and I don't know if I stand for correction anyway. I'm told the security services are, exempted from that. Too bad. Too bad. No. I mean, that should have given us, a step ahead of our impending games. But I'm told, I don't know, like I said, I stand for correction. I don't know whether it's true or not. But I'm told the security services are exempted.
I see. And you're exempted, but I mean, this cycle just seems to be, repeating itself, where there's also the flow of information. You're not really seeing which is which, just like what you're telling me now.
Yeah. This is also a problem. You see, unlike Europe, before the season starts, there's this calendar for you, So in February you are doing this, in March you are doing this, in April, in June you are doing this. But here it's not like that. You will be there. I think last 2 weeks or is it last 3 weeks, athletes were taken to Nigeria for a competition. They were not aware. How prepared were they? No. But they will be there. You'll be there, and then there will be an announcement on radio that these athletes are invited for camping. They are going to Nigeria. And you wouldn't even know the mode of selection. And that is where the favoritism I was talking about comes in. How did they select those athletes who represented Ghana, I think 3 weeks or was it a month ago in Nigeria? How was it about? Somebody's in Brungahafu, somebody's in Upper East, Upper West, Northern region. Do you know how prepared that person is? But we sit in Accra here, and then we build a team, around Greater Accra, Ashanti region, and perhaps Central, and then, Western, which is very bad.
I see. All right. So, with the current model that we run, we obviously do not have regular competition.
Yeah.
From your point of view as an athlete, if we've got, let's say, 5 months to go for a major international competition, what do we do?
Well, I would advise the association not to go and waste taxpayers' money.
There are sanctions sometimes,
Yeah, to me, I mean, we've made this noise almost every day, and our voices are not, recognized. So if the sanction comes, I mean, the big men will perhaps all this noise we are making, I mean, the ministers, His Excellencies, they are not hearing us. But if the sanction comes, I mean, they will know, there was something wrong somewhere. So this time, let's do it this way. I would have preferred, we don't go and waste taxpayers' money. We don't go for somebody to, take advantage of that and then, get some money into his pocket whilst the athletes suffer. You see, if you're an athlete and you are performing, and you are being taken to a competition, you go and you don't perform. Well, to me, it would be very bad for me. Very, very bad for the association to waste taxpayers' money on me, buy a plane ticket for me, camp me in Australia or in Germany or in Holland, and at the end of the day, not even qualify for the second round of a competition. Too bad. So I would advise, like you said, now if I'm being invited for any, championship, being world championship, I'll tell them I will not go because I'm not prepared. And even if I'm prepared, I will ask myself, am I going to meet, the standard? Those I'm going to meet, am I going to do something better? If not, I will say no. Because I remember in 2004 in Germany, before the Olympic Games, we went there for, training tour. And then before we will leave Germany for the Olympic Games, there was a series of competition. I just got into Cologne, Germany, and then my coach wanted to register me. I mean, two days wanted to register me for a competition. I said, no, I'm not prepared for that. I can run, but I'm not prepared for that. To go in and then place fifth, sixth, no, I'm not prepared for that. But if, I'll be given a time, like 1 month, to acclimatize myself with the condition there, then perhaps I can go in, and as I go in, I know I'm going to do better. You understand?
Yeah. I see. All right. So we're moving the discussion on and on, but do we see any future for athletics? The way things are going, lately.
For now, there's no future for Ghana athletics. There's no future. You see, let me go back. Ghana has been able to, produce athletes, the Rose Harts, the George Daniels. I mean, my former coach, may his soul rest in peace. The man who equaled the world record of Don Corey of Jamaica in 1972, but was never recognized in any Hall of Fame. We've been able to produce this generation. From there, it came to the Leo Masmos, the Hurricane Cancer, the Aziz Zakaris, and so on. But now, we don't have, these world-class athletes to compete for Ghana. The only person we have, or the only, athlete we have is the Geza and then Maggie, who for sure, if they go in for a competition, we know Ghana is going to get something, at least bronze. They are running away from us. For now, we don't have, even in Africa, athletes to compete in Africa here and to get us even bronze. Even if, oh my God, we don't have. So the future is very bad. They need to sit up. They need to organize themselves well. Because we have the talent. The talents are there. My brother, go to Kumasi Sports Stadium in the morning. Come to Ewak Stadium in the morning. And you see how committed these young athletes are. When they are running, you see, I've been saying that we have two categories of athletes. We have those learning to become athletes and those who were born with it. When you see athletes training at their work, nobody will tell you that this guy is a talented athlete. We have them there. Let's take advantage of them. What are we wasting our time for? For now, there's no future for Ghana athletics. No future. No.
All right. Now, you say there is no future, so it means we don't go into the Commonwealth Games, thinking that we are going to win any major,
Perhaps we may go because we don't want to be sanctioned. But putting that aside, there's no need we go. Who are those athletes going to compete? Is it Ajima Clement? For now, he says no. Who are those? Is it the Apia Kubis? The Shepherd? It's nothing to talk about. And let me tell you one thing. One frustrating thing that happened in my life. I think 3 years ago, I have this coach in Holland, who's normally every year he sends me an invitation, then I go there for competition. This time around, I told the coach that, coach, I'm fading out. So I have these young athletes that I will commend to you. So in case you are sending me the invitation, right, just extend it to these two guys that I know if I'm not there, they can even do better than I did. You know what happened to me? When the invitation came and we were trying to, arrange ourselves for visas and everything to go to Europe for a training tour, a letter was sent to my office that I'm trying to smuggle 2 army officers, athletes. I am trying to smuggle them to Europe. That I'm linked to, a visa coordination. A letter from the association was sent to my office for my dismissal, just because I want to promote these athletes. You think such a person or somebody, if somebody should hear of this, will advise his son or whatever?
But judging you immediately by the true spirit of an athlete, then you should persevere.
You see, the chance is not there. They are not giving you the chance. If you want to go to Europe to train, you can't do that on your own. You need a letter from the association to the embassy. And the association says, hey, we will give you. What will you do? You can't go on your own. The requirements will be so much that you will not be able to meet them. So you have to follow on the association. And they say, no, we won't give you. So what are you going to do? You only advise yourself to, switch camp to naturalize for another nation, just as Geza has done? Or better still, I mean, I wanted to do it. They say they won't allow me, so let me sit back and watch them.
Now, during your very active days, did you get any temptation to get influenced to switch your nationality?
Oh, yes. I remember when we were going for the Commonwealth Games, but then we were innovating our media, our stadium. So I went to, Togo to camp myself there because I knew the whole contingent would be coming to Togo for, the national championship. So I went there a month ahead of the whole, contingent. And then I had this opportunity of, training with the Togolese athletes. And to my surprise, I was being approached with the request that if I want to, switch camp to Togo. And I bet if it were to be today, I wouldn't have, wasted much time at all. I would have run like Usain Bolt to go and then do that immediately.
Wow. I see.
Yeah.
I see. Then it just gives everybody the extent to which this problem is there. Like I mentioned to you, there are going to be more stories on athletics and its related, disciplines, and we will be looking at these other disciplines into detail in other, in our subsequent bulletins. But for now, remember that you are here live on Sports Night on the Joy Sports channel on Multi TV as we look into what really the problem is with Ghana athletics and the possible way forward. Now, we are also, we're also looking at the time available to us ahead of the Commonwealth Games. The planning committee said, look, this is a big opportunity for us. Let's launch the event 1 year ahead of time so we can prepare well and also get good sponsorship. So in the instance where everybody is giving up, then it means that, the Commonwealth Games can be said to already be a fiasco. Yeah,
you've said it all. To me, they can concentrate on the other, disciplines, being the, it's games, so it's not only athletics. They can, concentrate on the other, games and not athletics. Athletics for now, you see, to produce world-class athletes like Eric Nkansa, it will not take a year. It will take about 2-3 years. And as I talk to you right now, we don't have that caliber of athletes now. This current association has not been able to produce these kind of athletes who can represent the nation, not just go and then add up to the number. But we want to see them qualify from the first, stage to the second, to the quarterfinals, and even if it is to the semifinals. I mean, we will appreciate that. But for now, we don't. So for the other games, they can concentrate and then do it. But for athletics, it will be the normal story. I bet you we don't have. I've been training with the athletes. I know their performances individually. So if you ask me, I'll tell you to start training somebody now to compete next year Commonwealth Games and to give Ghana a medal is no.
All right, so we will be entering the final lap of the show, but right now we'll do a round of commercials. And remember, this is Sports Night. It's only here on the Joy Sports channel on Multi TV. My guest in the studio, Clement Ajiman, who is one-time 100 meters and 200 meters champion here in Ghana. He has packed his bags. He has retired from national duty, but is still competing for his outfit, the SEPS division of the National Revenue Authority. You stay right here. Don't go anywhere. Well, we are now in the final lap of the show, and Clement is still here with me in the studio. Clement, now there is the bit about complaints. People make complaints. People find problems. People discover problems. You have. But there's another question about what has been done on your part as those at the receiving end of all these troubles. What have you done on your part as regards to alerting the authorities, as regards to proposing solutions to the authorities?
Yeah, I think what I can say is that as an athlete, I don't have that power, in the sense that even if there's going to be a meeting, people will make sure that because you will be there to say this and this and this and that, they will make sure you don't come to that meeting, you are not given the time. as when the meeting is even going to start. And then again, I can say that we've tried organizing ourselves as an athletes, but then we have some, athletes who are close to the authorities, and that in a meeting, if we decide to do this, before we leave the meeting scene, whatever we will be discussing will be with the authorities. And so you are being called, especially with those in the security service. Hey, security officer, if you do this, this and this and that is going to happen. And
so you are threatened sometimes?
Oh yes. I will not even be surprised by the time I even leave the studio. I'll be having text messages here and there. I mean, it comes. And we work to, get something to cater for ourselves and for the family. So one way or the other, if you are being warned to, not to talk, not to make comments that somebody somewhere may think it will go against me or it will go against my government or whatever, then it means you have to, sit back and watch them, because you need money to cater for yourself and for your family. So if your views are going to create problems to you such that it may even cause your transfer, or to, like I said, this letter that was sent to my office. In fact, if I had not met, people so understanding, people who gave me time to explain myself, I think by now I would have gone back to my noble profession as a teacher. I wouldn't have been in customs, because the letter was such that, they should cause my dismissal. Trying to smuggle 2 athletes to Europe. Thinking.
So for you, that was a frame up just because you're a vocal person.
That is it. Nothing else. I thought I had these 2, and you know what? Those 2 guys, one at the moment is who they are relying on. Agbepo Shepherd is who they are relying on for now. But I bet you, if I had established that contact with this coach in Europe.
Shepherd Agbeko's prince for the army, doesn't he?
He's prince for the army. If I had been able to establish this contact with, the coach, it would have been an annual, event where he'll be sending, invitations for athletes to go there and then train and then come and compete for Ghana. Was that my crime? And, all these things goes on, and you sit down there. Family members will be calling you. We've asked you to stop this. Friends will be asking, what Attoh will you gain from? But I still have the commitment for the sport. You understand? So, You see, when you go through all these things, you don't feel like coming out again. Because, when you are sacked, you only go out there to add up to the unemployment number, which your family will not even forgive you for just going to express your views and you are sacked from. Why should you do that? So we only have to sit back and watch things go wayward. You understand? Sometimes it's very emotional when we talk about these things. But I think we need, you see, I have personally regretted when I decided to, sit back and not make any comment or whatever. To me, I thought those days I should have, gone ahead to, even if it goes to the extent of, physically,
confronting
some authorities, because, you have all these resources around you to help these athletes come out, and you're not doing it. And if the athletes themselves want to help themselves and help their colleagues, you sideline them. What else? What else do you want to do with that situation? What would you gain from there? To the extent that you want to, put fears in these athletes so that they can't come out to voice out what is, going wrong. It's very bad. We are in a democratic nation. And so some of these things should be put somewhere. Look at what is happening now.
Okay.
Geza is going out.
Yeah.
And I think it's a big shame to that situation. And it's a very big blow to the nation. How can a coach, how can you sell your only striker? Ignatius Geza, to me, those in affairs, those in control of affairs at the moment, can never compare themselves to Ignatius Geza. Geza, if he is going for a competition, you are rest assured. The nation is rest assured that there's going to be a medal, being gold, silver, or bronze. And you allow such a person to switch nationality. It's a shame to that situation. If I were to be a member of that situation, the authorities, I would have resigned the very day this news came out.
What do you know about, Margaret Simpson's issues and her troubles? She has also decided to call it quits.
Yes, it's because if I tell you the amount of money that association is owing Margaret Simpson, my brother, why should this happen?
Now, I'd also bring this in. Later on, we'll also be listening to the association. We'll have another show to talk to them.
I would have wished that, on such a platform, you invite the chairman, you invite the secretary, we all sit down, then we dialogue.
Yeah. Okay.
Because in my absence, something may be said I will not be. If I'm around, I may be defending. I may put them on the right path.
That is part of the plan. We surely are going to do that.
We will appreciate that.
But in Margaret Simpson's case, for instance, she was owed monies from a certain year. There's a new administration, and the new administration will say, well, look, these are problems that we inherited. Therefore, it is difficult for us to deal with. Is this not something that the athletes should understand?
Why should it be difficult for the current administrators to pay Margaret Simpson for a work he did 2 or 3, 4, 5 years ago? Why should it be difficult?
Because they may not have the budget.
They may not have. Is the ministry not giving them their due?
But that may not be enough.
But that doesn't stop them from paying those. So where does that money go to? Because we are not having competitions. Competitions are not being organized. So where does that money go to? We've not had any situation where one day we may read from the newspapers or even on TV that the association has imported equipment, these running shoes. No. So where does that money go to? Where does that money go to? If these monies are not being used to motivate the athletes, pay them as they are due of, then where does that money go to? Or if you think you are there, you cannot manage that money to the extent that to motivate the athletes to give up their best. Why are you still in post? I think with time we advise ourselves. We have a lot to do. In terms of the authorities, they have a lot to do. So, if running the association is going to be something difficult for them, they should come out and say we are
tired.
We are tired. And so somebody else should come and continue. Because the same nation, we had past administrators who were doing it. And even those days, the budgets were not like those that is given now. But they were still, organizing competitions. They were still, acquiring scholarship for athletes. But now, what do we see? Favoritism here and there. Even those who are having this scholarship and it has exhausted. That's this when she says we can't renew them. What is happening? So
and was that the case of Margaret Simpson?
Yeah, I think so.
She had a scholarship?
Yeah, I think so. Maggie was in Mauritius. And he was doing well.
And she was getting convinced by the authorities there to naturalize as well.
Yes. Sometimes you talk to her and she will tell you. And she will come out and say that, look, I love this red, gold, green. I don't want to go anywhere. And we've been able to sustain her till now. Now they think she's old. But I tell you, we still have medals in Maggie that she can give to this nation. We still have medals, just as we have medals in Ignatius Geza. You see, it's so frustrating. I heard somebody saying that, they are old. If they want to go, they should go. It's a cheap talk, man. It's a cheap talk. These are athletes some young athletes looked up to. They are their mentors. They take inspiration from them. And you want these athletes to go? Because one way or the other, they are being a burden on you? Oh, come on.
Clement, we surely are going to continue this discussion. And like I mentioned to you earlier, this is not the end. This surely is the beginning of a series of programs on athletics specific so that we get to the bottom of this and we see where the way forward will be, because if the athletes continue to resign, then Ghana surely is going to be in hot waters, considering that one big campaign has already been launched for the Commonwealth Games. Remember, Rio 2016 will come sometime, and we have to begin the preparations from today. Thank you very much for staying here with us.
There's one thing, let me offer this free advice. I'm not going to take any money from them. Looking at what has happened, Ignatius Geza switching camp, I would advise the association that they should try and link these athletes to the security service or even government institutions, so that after they are aged up and they can't perform, they may have something doing. In this case, nobody would think of switching nationality. Geza thinks that, looking at old athletes now, they are nothing to talk about. I'm sorry to say that. But if he has it at the back of the mind that, after competing for Ghana, they are going to put me somewhere in the security service, being police, customs, or immigration. So if I'm not able to, if I don't have the strength to do it,
there will be something to rest on.
Yes, at the end of the day, he's going to get something to cater for the family. It's a free advice I'm giving them. They should start doing that. They should link this athlete to the government institutions. I'm not going to take anything from them. Free advice.
All right. So there it is. We will, like I mentioned to you, we will continue the series on athletics, and trust me, we will be getting more, perspectives to this big problem, which urgently needs a solution, because Ghana does need athletics, and Ghana has to perform and win laurels at international events. Thanks to the whole Joy Sports team. More importantly, thanks to all of you for staying here with us. You keep it here on the Joy Sports channel on Multi TV for more. My name is Nathaniel Attoh, and I have love for sport.